Right, well, firstly, a very good morning to everybody. My name's Jason Davis. I'm the Chief Client Development Officer for Marcus Evans. Firstly, and also thank you very much for your business. Without yourselves, obviously our events wouldn't be possible. The purpose of this session is to give you an insight from an investor's perspective on what they actually look for in terms of the content of the meeting and the follow-up to help you maximize the course of the next 3 days and post the event. So a couple of things I'd like to do first is obviously introduce Todd Benjamin, who's going to moderate the session. Todd's the former editor, financial editor for CNN. I've worked with him on many events. Welcome, Todd, and thank you. I'd like to introduce you to Alfred Zhu, who's from Caesar Investments. Welcome, Alfred. And then Sean Deng from Mercury Capital, and Sean Lee from Oscar Wealth. Before I hand over to Todd for him to moderate the session, I'd like to start off by showing you a short video from one of our clients. This is one of my long-term clients who's worked with us for the last 10 years. His name is Stuart Hay from SL Capital Partners, which is the private equity division of Standard Life. And he's attended over 40 summits and generated a tremendous amount of clients and wealth from those events. So if we could play the video shortly, and then we'll hand over to Todd. Thank you very much, and welcome everybody.
Stuart Hay, I'm a partner at SL Capital Partners. Primarily private equity solutions that cover all alternative investments and mainly focused on Europe. I would say about 40 over 10 years. We've hardly had an event where we've not had success. So we've worked out, I think, over the years how best to approach it. I think you've got to take a very positive attitude to it. On the one-on-one meetings, I think it's important that you realise it's a little bit difficult for everybody. You're meeting somebody for the first time, you don't really know that much about it. You've got to find common ground, you've got to make it enjoyable for the people in it, and you've got to have an interesting proposition in it. So yeah, we've built up entire client bases from Marcus Evans events just by being in the right place at the right time with the right product. Just see how great Jason Davis is. Should I not cover that and say he is just the master marketing guy in the entire planet? I've known Jason for 10 years. Now he's dealt with me for 10 years. So that's a lot. You know, he knows we're pretty specific on what we're looking for, and that's the thing about Marcus Evans is, you know, we just don't want a generic one-stop solution. You know, we're saying, well, we want to have a fair degree of flexibility in terms of geography, which ones we attend, we'd like to target it, we'd like the flexibility to pull in, pull out, depending on who we see the attendees are and where we are with our own fundraising cycle. So Marcus Evans have been good at that, and sort of saying, when we say we'd like to switch this around a little bit, they go, yeah, whatever you want.
I want to start by asking some of our panelists here, you know, this is not the first time that you have attended a Marcus Evans event here in Asia. You know, first of all, what are the differentiating factors? You know, why do you keep coming back? You know, why is it valuable for you? Yeah, Alfred.
I think there's two aspects for me to coming back. First one is like family office is a small group, but like if you don't cooperate in a project with your peers, you probably won't meet each other for 1 year. So it's a good chance to come here to see friends again. But the second one is like one of my friends saying Marcus events is like speed dating. You know, when you just focus in your own areas, just targeting the something you're familiar with, but in here, you meet all kinds of investment opportunities and fund managers, so you can explore some new idea. Maybe this new idea can explore new investment opportunities and can give you new insights. That's why I come here.
Yeah. I think this round is the third time attending this event. So the two factors for me also, the quality of this platform, you see. So they cover quite a wide scope of regional, sectorial, and many other type of asset that whereby local market we can access here. So this is good as one-stop investment platform like our firm and our families. So second, I'm talking about alternative funds. Always I'm quite exciting on those alternative funds, whereby the local market is very hard for us to access those funds. So I think this is the why the qualities and alternative that as a managers and running the family office, so we can invest on those.
So in a sense, it gives you a much broader viewpoint than what's out there, as opposed to just being here in Malaysia.
Yeah. So Malaysia, is, if you are talking about normal unit trust fund, the asset management, I think we can access in this region. But talking about alternative fund looks like it's a PE fund, and very specific on sectorial investment. I think this we can expose on further on that.
Okay. Sean, your perceptions, why you keep coming back. We've heard from Alfred here, the networking is always good. The idea of speed dating with quality partners is always good. And also the sort of the global reach that these solution providers have can give a regional office a much greater outlook.
Yeah. We are a multi-family office, and we have served lots of high net value individuals and their families in China. And just before I fly to KL, this Saturday and this Sunday, I'm a professor of China, one of the best universities, which name is Jiao Tong University. I teach them the EMBA course. I teach them the offshore asset management and the offshore wealth management. I told my students, give them a very strong suggestion. You should put 30% to 40% assets from mainland China to offshore. You can focus on the real estate market in US. You can also seeking for some opportunity in Europe, and not only put all of your assets in mainland China. The digital is not confirmed by the government, but we know that in last year there was around 300 billion US dollars get out from China. So I think that for the macroeconomics reason, or for the for the Chinese economics in the future, I think that lots of Chinese guys will go out of China. But when I come to macro events here, I just come here to seeking for the opportunity for our clients.
And you've actually invested before, Sean in the middle. We'll call him Sean Connery. We've got two Seans going here. Yeah, Sean, you've actually invested before. The one-to-one meetings at the event, of course, that you're all going to be having are the key business catalysts. In your mind, how should a sponsor prepare for and tailor their approach to your needs?
I think the one-to-one meeting actually is more about personality actually. There are some examples they are trying to just show the PowerPoint and see this is a return of 1.720 something. It's kind of boring when you're talking to people. There's no chemistry between us. But there's an example I can give from last year. I met a guy from Indian. He tried to sell his property, some property real estate programs. So it's very boring at the very beginning. But then we think it's probably going to be end of our relationship. But then we're talking about something kind of like diamond. His family has been diamond business for 4 generations, and he's full of love and passion. So that really charms me actually. We do a lot of philanthropy and artworks, so we have art farms and antique farms. So in the end, actually, we keep following up with them, and we are talking about developing a diamond farm in mainland China. I'm not sure how the project will really end, but that is really give an idea of how we can enjoy it. Like, first one is the personality. If you can charm us, we can really come out with something even out of just the project you can bring it to us.
I'm sure all these people here can charm you. But I think he raises a fantastic point, Jason. Jason's been with Marcus Evans for 13 years. He's got more than 30 years of experience doing sales, and he is one hell of a salesman. Okay, you all know this because you're sitting there. But I want to ask you, because I think the point you raise is a very important one, because many of these people here, or some of them, they may have great investment ideas, but they may not naturally be salesmen. Okay, and there's a big distinction. Okay, you've always told me people always buy first for the following reason: because they either believe in the person or they like the person. Has that been your observation?
That's been my observation, and it's my belief, and I've never seen anything to the contrary to contradict that either.
Right. So one of the things that's really key here is that, and you talk about it being speed dating, which I think is a great way of describing it. It is. You've got 25 minutes to get these people interested in your product. But your point, Jason, is, they shouldn't just rush into their presentation. They should spend maybe 4 or 5 minutes trying to make a connection. Try and see this person not only as a prospect, but as a person, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I can give you a little side story. I once observed Stuart doing a meeting, and he talked for 25 minutes about football. And when the bell rang, I walked past his table. He said, well, I better tell you what I do then. He knew what the guy wanted, and the delegate knew what he did, but he used that meeting to create that chemistry. What Stuart does is initiate follow-up meetings from meetings he has, because that's when he will get in and do the detailed presentation. So It's really about getting people to like you and trust you, which is the first and foremost important thing.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, Sean, your thoughts? Yeah.
So I said, most of you only have 25 minutes. So important, first, I think, is KYC your customers, what they can invest and what they don't invest. And then the first priority, their choice of investment. So in order for you to qualify your key investor, you see. Second, talk about key focus. Some, if you are asset management, and mostly they choose you for face-to-face, one-to-one, you see. So they come forward to you. I think it's important that you highlight those key focus and professionalism that you can enhance and attract the investor here. So I think this is very important.
Okay. Here's another very important thing, talking about that 25 minutes that you have. You're talking about to really focus on exactly what they're doing. Now, this sounds very obvious, but again, Jason, you've seen so many presentations that don't really get to the heart of what they're doing immediately. And your suggestion is you just really take 5 or 6 slides to really concentrate on, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No more. And once you've agreed what the next steps will be with that client, at the end of each meeting, well, not at the end of each meeting, at the end of each block of meeting, take the time to send an email to the client and email through a more detailed presentation. On top of which, I think one of the problems that I see, and one of the major criticisms that I get back from investors, is that the questions that they raise are not answered properly by the investment managers. So detailed note-taking during meetings, I think, is important, and addressing those questions as soon as possible after the meeting.
Yeah.
So that you don't forget, and you're foremost in their minds as well. I think that's important.
Yeah, because what often happens, what I've heard from some of the delegates who come is, we will ask for certain follow-up questions, and the type of responses we're getting give us much more than we actually asked for. So your suggestion is just give them what they actually want in that follow-up, correct?
Absolutely, no more, no less. You can oversell your product to a certain extent. I have a motto: less is best.
Okay. Sean, your thoughts in terms of what's most effective?
I think that when I have one-to-one meeting, I think everybody come here, you're specialists in your area. But you should show something different with the others. Whatever real estate fund or native funds, pension fund, anyway, you show something you were different with the others. The second thing is most important. You should show me why it's you. Why it's you. You could make it. So now we just seeking with some leads from markers, events. Now we work together to make an opportunity to make some product for local Chinese market. I think that some of the funds come here do not design a product very rich for the Chinese market. As you know, in China market, the market interest rate is around 15% to 20%. It's really high. You should show them why she will put money into a fund, make money only 10% per year.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, please go ahead. Yeah. And in terms of the one-to-one meetings, when you have them, the type of follow-up, have you found the follow-up always effective? Alfred, you have a great story. I asked Alfred, have you ever invested? He said, well, I wanted to once. I came here. I was excited by what the product was. And then guess what happened? The follow-up wasn't good. Correct? Expand on that, Alfred, because this is really key. Yeah.
There's actually several stories about following up. One of them is like, I'm not sure is he here or not, a future group like in Australia. He come to Shanghai once, and I flew directly from Beijing to Shanghai just to meet him. So I'm interested in his program. And then the next time, his assistant emailed me the same email, just like he forgot seeing me. So that's a little not really feeling good. But then I'm thinking, okay, I can meet him again, talking about details. But then he changes assistant in China every time. That's a problem. So different time in China, there's a different Chinese guy in contact with me, and they have no idea what's prior with the relationship with me. So that's a problem. And then the second time we're going to meet actually is a national holiday. I don't work a national holiday.
Okay.
So I said, you can, I will contact you later, or you can give me a call later. I think maybe he's just waiting for my calling back, but I think I'm very sorry about that, but I lost the cell phone number.
Okay. Well, there you go. And also you're losing faith in him because he didn't really understand culturally what he needed to know to work with you. And two, the team wasn't consistent. Not everybody was on the same page. So a lot of this sounds really obvious, but it's not happening. It's not happening. And it's very clear when it doesn't happen. Here you have a potential, client who's willing to invest, millions with you, and just because the follow-up isn't right or isn't consistent, he says, forget it. Okay? Yeah. Sean, on the follow-up. Yeah.
So, because this 3 days event is a little bit rushed, so the 25 minutes is not only product showing, but you have to follow up with relationship based. Asian, I think mostly we are talking about relationship sharing. 90% I think can be closed through relationships. I strongly believe this. Then I have experience also, from the Australia-based PE fund. So it's very good because young and dynamic and keep on follow up on those potential joint venture, potential to expose further. If I'm not investing, but you see, locally market, we are good resources. So even though I introduce investment bank, to team up them because they have wealth management division work together to close the deals. So this is for looking forward. Beside us invest, but also we a lot of resources. So you must get through this relationship as referrer. For you, it's just a business, right? So I think you don't mind on that. Relationship building, I think, is key indicator to make the Asian investor success. I think this is my point.
What does that really mean, relationship-based? I think we all know what relationship means. But what does this really mean in terms of the approach that they take? should they see, because everyone has high expectations, you know, they pay a lot of money to come here, they want to make sure, you know, they sell their product. But, you know, what sort of expectations should they have in terms of actually being successful? That relationship building, you know, how long could it take? You know, can you give me some insight into sort of the Asian idea of developing trust? Because this is really what it comes down to.
Trust is very important, right? So, of course, you have to maintain your professionalism. I think most of you are very professional, the funds and the service provider. So, the trust. So now it's very, because you see the distance is a problem, right? I foresee this distance is seriously a problem because our follow-ups may not be so closely. But I think nowadays, we need to catch up our technology also, no? Like I communicate with my funds also using WhatsApps and even the WeChat. So I think this kind of communication we should keep on running, right? I foresee, you know, if we work closely, because why your fund is very unique. Sometimes I see very good because I can't see any Malaysia version. Malaysia is different. Malaysia is you have to cater two groups. One is an Islamic, so Sharia compliance fund. I don't see any here, frankly speaking, for many years. So the other one is non-Sharia. So Sharia, I think if you come to Malaysia, you have to seriously look at, if you have chance, you look at this anchor. Because why? They will link to Middle East. There's millions, the Middle East, the communities is here. You see all black, no, sorry, they will come here, now mostly on September onwards. So there are a lot of, they are looking alternative, they put their money here. They put their money here. So I think this is the anchor that you have to look at, know how we can cater these services.
Sean, your thoughts on the follow-up meetings, the process, the biggest mistake you see that's made?
I think that last time I'm here, I have almost 22 or more meetings here. The one-to-one meeting, I fill all the blanks of my times here. I think that when I fly almost 4,000 kilometers here, I should not waste my time. After meeting, I think that I cannot remember all the face to fit with their name cards. I will mark on the cards some of my interesting projects. But for the others, when you contact me, I think that you should mention about yourself and your funds. And one of the funds we will just make the cooperation. Right now, we build up our online meeting system. We always communicate with each other with our online meeting system. Very efficient, and we can connect with both of us with Concord every week. So anyway, and everybody here, you will meet around maybe 20 or 20 more meetings here. So you also have my problem. I think that you cannot remember all the faces of the investors. So you should do something, Mark, and just follow up maybe just in 1 week. After that, some of the members will be cannot remember so deeply. So yes.
So you suggest following up within the week, and also with the key questions that you may have, and to remind you something about them also, not only their product. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The personal connection that Alfred is talking about here.
I would like to add one more thing. It's actually, I come from Zhejiang province. Actually, it's one of the largest entrepreneur group in China. In the past few years, there's a lot of copycat like PE fund or other stuff, or mutual fund stuff in Zhejiang province. A lot of people invest a lot of money in there, but they got nothing. They don't have a good return, or they don't have some values in this. So they lose a lot of interest in the traditional PE fund. One of the reasons I come here, because I know this is not how the world works. Because I was educated in the United States, I know how professional the other side of the world is doing this stuff. So, but they have a philosophy. If you want to really win their trust, if you want to do a $1 million business, you may want to start with doing $10,000 business first. Then if you have the good relationship, you can keep moving forward. One of our company's target is actually helping those young members to develop their own business and develop their own new investment opportunity. So firstly, we put with some funds for the small opportunities with them, like how to reduce your fund cost or something similar, or how to helping you adapt into China, something like that. So when this happens, maybe the CEO or the president will send the email. So, okay, I'm interested. I will send my CFO or COO to connect with you. Then the email just gone away. Then there's no follow-up. So that makes me really think, okay, you just want to sell a fund to us, and then not really building a relationship, not really. If we see we can make your fund better, or we can make this program much better, we should work together. But not just selling fund to us, because there's been too many times the manager just selling the fund to us and then they walk away with no return or no value. That's what we have experienced. So if you really want to differentiate from those crappy funds, try to gain their trust, small channels or the small things, one by one. Then in the future, they even may trust all the company to you.
So as Alfred said, if you really want to differentiate yourself from, quote, those crappy funds, build the relationship. Take the time to build trust, and then the rest will follow. And as Sean was saying, relationships are so important in Asia. And so to have a patience about that and take time in terms of developing the relationship. I want to ask you very quickly, in very short answers on this. If you had to choose one single biggest mistake a sponsor can raise in his 30 minutes with you, what would it be? What is the biggest mistake usually that they make? Yeah.
The biggest mistake? I think that the big mistake will be made is you do not show your bad things. You always show us a presentation. The presentation almost same. I think that 25 minutes is time enough. What I need to listen, 5 minutes is enough. But always, after 25 minutes, you still have a lot of things you want to talk, but I do not got your points.
Which goes back to Jason's point. The most effective pitches maybe only have 5 or 6 slides. Now, you may have prepared a lot more slides here, but honing in on the 5 or 6 most important, because those will be the ones that you remember. Sean, the biggest mistake that you think that...
Yep, I attended quite numbers. I found that you really need to do good presentation and preparation. I experienced before, you see, so the fund provider, basically, there are no preparation at all. You don't even have slide, just use a paper, you see. And then they don't have any track record at all, you see. So I think this is very important for you must prepare well. 5 minutes or 10 minutes time to catch the eyeball of the investor as well.
Okay, again, so what you're talking about also is that a lot of sponsors think they've prepared well, but they haven't always prepared as well as they could, correct? And that you feel that they need to make the presentations more concise. Is that okay? Alfred, would you agree with that? What's your...
Yes, but I think I can give a suggestion. Like, I do agree with that. Just like, don't just present yourself. Try to know who we are, what we have, and what we want to do, and see on this level, could we have benefit with each other?
Right. So explore the possibility whether or not there's connection right off. Jason, you've talked about that before.
Yeah, I mean, you have to know your client first before you can sell something to them. And just recapping, I think to get them to like you and to trust you is paramount. And as to one of the biggest mistakes that people can make in a sales presentation, it's the most important skill in sales is to listen to the person in front of you. You can miss so much, and when you're focused too much on what you think you should be addressing, listen to the person in front of you and answer the questions that they're raising, and I think your presentations will be a lot more productive.
All right, I think some terrific insights into how they think as individuals and how the Asian approach may be different than some of you are used to. Any questions for our three panelists in terms of their insights or questions you may have in terms of what you may or may not do or should not do during your 25 minutes? Any questions here? Yeah? Anything that you want to follow up on? Okay. Why don't we now hear, if we can, do we have Stuart's?
I hope so. Do we have it? Yes.
Okay, let's hear what Stuart had to say. This is somebody who's invested many times.
Stuart Hay, I'm a partner at SL Capital Partners. Primarily private equity solutions that cover all alternative investments and mainly focused on Europe. I would say about 40 over 10 years. We've hardly had an event where we've not had success. So we've worked out, I think, over the years how best to approach it. I think you've got to take a very positive attitude to it. On the one-on-one meetings, I think it's important that you realise it's a little bit difficult for everybody. You're meeting somebody for the first time, you don't really know that much about it. You've got to find common ground, you've got to make it enjoyable for the people in it, and you've got to have an interesting proposition in it. So yeah, we've built up entire client bases from Marcus Evans events just by being in the right place at the right time with the right product. Just see how great Jason Davis is. Should I not cover that? And say he is just the master marketing guy in the entire planet. I've known Jason for 10 years. Now he's dealt with me for 10 years. So that's a lot. You know, he knows we're pretty specific on what we're looking for, and that's the thing about Marcus Evans is, you know, we just don't want a generic one-stop solution. You know, we're saying, well, we want to have a fair degree of flexibility in terms of geography, which ones we attend, we'd like to target it, we'd like to flexibility to pull in, pull out, depending on who we see the attendees are and where we are with our own fundraising cycle. So Marcus Evans have been good at that, and sort of saying, when we say we'd like to switch this around a little bit, they go, yeah, whatever you want.
I'm going to turn it back to Sean, but I just want to go back, excuse me, I'm going to turn it back to Jason, but I just want to go back to one point that Sean made, you know, who teaches and, of course, works in investment as well. He said that, you know, he recommends that 30 to 40% of mainland China put investments offshore. 30 to 40%. You know, that represents a tremendous opportunity for all of you, all right? But based on what these people have also said, you know, you'll have to do things right to win the trust and to get the business. So I wish you the best of luck over the next 2.5 days. I really appreciate your time. And Jason, I just want to go back to you for your closing thoughts. And thank you very much to our panelists for some terrific insights.
Thanks, Todd, and thanks, gentlemen. Much appreciated. Just a few closing points from me. I've spoken to most of you in the lead up to the event and given you some advice on preparation and also on our arrangements for next year. The event will be the 26th to the 28th of October back in Kuala Lumpur. We have a pretty strict process in terms of confirming participations. That's not because we like to do what we do in terms of the urgency we have to finalise the positions. It's because of the dynamics of our business and the amount of events that we actually run. We run thousands of events, so we need to know where we stand. So we've given offers to all of you to renew your partnerships with us. That will run up until tomorrow afternoon. If you feel inclined to confirm your partnerships, we'd love to have you back again. We do have visitors coming on Wednesday that wanted to come this year, but we didn't work with them because we're partnering with yourselves, and we want to have a platform of maximum exposure and minimum competition, and they will be in a position to sign up for next year if there's any available places left. In terms of our program of events, we run over 20 summits globally. Most of them are sold out or at capacity because of our processes that we use. There is a way to get into those programs, such like China investors, global investors, our family office events in the States, which are very expensive. That's through an open contract program. One of my clients has finished their fundraising. We have 20 open contract partners. This client has indicated they don't want to renew their participation for the next 2 years. So I've spoken to a number of you, and we're offering that on a first-come, first-served basis. If anybody's interested, please let myself or Adam or Mervyn know over the course of the next 2 days. We also have a multi-channel partnership which has become available. It's like an open contract partnership, giving you access to global events, but we do 2 bespoke events just for you, anywhere in the world. That's on hold for Macro Realty. I have a meeting with Veronica tonight. If she chooses not to go ahead with that, then I'll open that up to a company on a first-come, first-served basis. And if any of you are interested, please let Theron Burroway or myself know. Theron's our CEO. He'll be arriving tonight, and he'll be available for conversations. And we also have basically confirmed a number of debrief meetings with you, because it's very important for Theron and I to get an indication of what you liked about this event and what you didn't like, because we're always striving to improve our products and, you know, give the best service we possibly can. So apropos that, at the end of the event, please do complete your evaluation forms. That's important. And tell us what we've done well, and tell us what we've done not so well, so we can make things better for you moving forward. Other than that, just a final thank you from Mr. Evans, my boss, who I report to. I spoke to him last night to let him know everything was going well, and he wanted me to pass on his thanks to all of you and wish you the best of luck over the next few days. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, and good luck over the next 3 days, and I hope everything goes very well for you. Thank you.